What's up, man?
What's up?
Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you.
Appreciate you. Yeah,
of course.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse. So I wanna talk to you about a couple of things today. Sport, inclusivity, American soccer, what we're doing right, but I think also more importantly, the areas that we can get better in terms of LGBTQ+ inclusivity. You said you knew very early in your life that you wanted to be a soccer player, but that you felt at the time like to achieve that dream, you might have to leave a part of you behind, and that it took you a while to get to the point where you felt like there's no shame in being a gay male athlete, right? And you wanted to normalize it as best you could so that other kids who are coming up don't necessarily have to go through that same experience, or not the same intensity of that experience maybe that you went through. How do you feel that normalization process is going?
Growing up, I didn't see many gay athletes like myself.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to accept myself in different facets of my life. But one of the places where I didn't really see much representation was in sports.
Yeah.
And so I basically, like you said, I wasn't gonna let anything get in my way of achieving my goals, which were to be a professional soccer player. Initially when I was starting, like coming out and having my sexuality, like figuring that out in general was gonna be like far out of my mind. I think once I realized how hard those obstacles were for me early on in my career, and how other people that were in my place weren't having to deal with this whole other component of growing up and maturing.
Right.
And I think that if I could make that process easier or speed that up for people, it would only be right. Because in general, I had a pretty good, easy experience, but there still is that like growth that like just straight athletes don't have to go through.
How are we doing, do you think, at making our sport and our game as inclusive as possible for kids who are in that extremely formative time of their lives, figuring things out and creating safe spaces for them? Yeah,
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, for my own journey, I was in youth soccer. I played at the DC United Academy. I had my unique experiences with maybe coaches that were maybe didn't use the right language at times, teammates that I loved but used tough language. And then I went to college at Wake, and I had an amazing experience, but that wasn't easy for me either. It was honestly really refreshing going into a professional locker room. Because guys didn't talk about like women like they did in college, or there was a little bit more respect for your personal space. After every weekend, I'm not asked what girl did I hook up with, you know? So I've talked about in the past how much coaches have a responsibility, especially at the youth level, to make it more inclusive.
And there's a big part of that, you mentioned it, but the language, being extremely careful about your word selection in order to make that environment feel safe and inclusive.
Yeah, one of our teammates last year, he was kind of giving one of the young guys a hard time, asking about girls, and I was like, hey, what if he didn't like girls, you know? Like, you're making him pretty uncomfortable, whether you're asking him things that he doesn't want to answer in the first place, but if you're gonna ask him that, be open to the fact that maybe he's not just interested in girls.
That's amazing.
So it's just little things for us to think about.
Yeah, what did he say?
My teammate, he really appreciated it. It really made him think, you know? And I think that's what's cool, because all you need to do is give someone a different idea or a different way to think, and from there they'll either like address it and think about it in a different way, or they'll still be maybe stuck in their ways. But you just gotta give them the chance to do better. Not a lot of my teammates have had gay friends. Like they maybe haven't felt comfortable enough to ask a question that they maybe were naive about or didn't know about, you know? So like within those conversations, and like as long as they're respectful, like that's where like the real growth is.
What does it mean to you, the idea of allyship, and what do you think the primary barriers are that are preventing people from being better allies?
It's about standing up for something that doesn't personally affect you. For me, that's what allyship is. Whether you want to stand up in terms of financially, whether you want to stand up and build awareness, there's different ways you can do it, right? I mean, you can give your money, you can give your time, you can give education to the next person so that they have the right tools to help support someone in the community. And that's what it looks like to me. Pick one thing that you're passionate about and you care about. Like we can't do it all. We can't pledge our time and energy to 100 different things and try to make like legitimate positive change, you know? So if there's like one area in the community that you really care about, like we're talking about this 365 days of pride now with the USL, like that's moving towards more of like actual substantial like work that's gonna be done on a day-to-day basis, like with an actual goal. It sort of feels like a check mark when you post about something, or I'm like so inundated with like links and stuff that like I just gloss over it. And I feel like I'm almost numb to like the different causes at times. And so that's why I think in order to like actually be a really good ally, just pick like one thing, like seriously.
What are clubs doing well, and sort of similar to what we talked about before, where can teams even get a little bit better in terms of overall inclusivity practices within their walls?
Yeah, at Minnesota, I loved how that they had a gay fan club. That was sweet to me. I mean, to be able to have a pride game, but actually see like the LGBTQ plus community in the stands, like it's different, you know. And for me, when I came out at the pride game, it very much was like a celebration with those people, you know.
That's so
for them
cool
to know that they had like a person like them that was playing on the field, and like that was like what was really special to me. DC, there was a lot of gay fans. That was nice, and in San Diego too. We're building that here, and I think it's only good for them. Like when we can get these stadiums full again, like there are going to be a lot of fans out there that are going to be wanting to come to games, and because they feel they like that they belong here, and that they'll be supported, and that they can come watch their team.
It seems like you have some really good people around you here in Landon, in Warren, and Andrew, people who care about you and who want to do the right thing.
When I knew my time at Minnesota was ending, and I had a good idea that I wanted to be in the USL to really grow as a player. I was smart with where I wanted to go, you know. Like I thought that this would be a great place, and wow, I was proven right. And not only is it a good place for me playing wise, but like the support I've had, and to be honest, like at the beginning. I wasn't made to feel different than anyone else on the team, and that's what you want, right? But you also want to be able to have like real conversations with your coaches and in the front office, and be able to feel comfortable expressing yourself if you want to, and that's how I felt. And so it's been really a seamless transition, and obviously feel really supported by the guys on the team, and I've been lucky. So.
How's it been from a strictly soccer standpoint? How's your game right now?
It's great.
Is it?
I'm so happy. I can't remember being happier, really. And last year was so much fun. Towards the end of the year, we really were.
You were flying.
Yeah, we were playing really well. We were just enjoying ourselves. I think going through that rough patch, like when we weren't scoring and when we lost a couple games, and being able to push towards playoffs and have something to look forward to. I just haven't had that, you know, and to feel like an important member of the team, like I'd been missing that, you know, like you can show up to work and enjoy yourself and be like grateful that you get to play soccer every day, but like if you don't feel like a part of the team, like it can really suck.
I wonder, you know, just from your chair, is there anything that we can do better? Is there anything that USL can do better?
Obviously, we talked about pride matches. I think they're important. I think we can expand on them. League-wide, I don't know how much you would have to like push a certain narrative necessarily. I think like that's where like teams can kind of explore different ways that they can really like engage their fans and make that night or that time a special time for those fans. But and then I think that the last thing would be, if an incident happens as a league, making sure that it's properly dealt with. And I think with the incident that happened, I think the league did a good job of addressing it, taking it very seriously, and making sure that people understand that if there are going to be issues, that whether it's with fans or players or coaches, there's going to be things that are going to happen, and as long as they're properly reprimanded, that's all you could ask for. Our league is unique that it's a younger league. I don't know if I'm right. Do you know what the age the average ages compared to the MLS, or just like
It would be younger,
in-world?
but I don't
It would
know.
be younger,
I don't know
yeah.
the specific
So
age.
I feel
but,
like
yeah.
they're, like there's a lot of education that can be done there. Like if you, like we have some younger guys in this league, like probably more than the average league maybe, and I feel like there's some real education that can be done there. I know it's never fun like having those like meetings, but I think like in preseason, like we should be having a little bit more, like the league can enact like maybe some proper like education that like, and I think it'd be good for everyone involved just to maybe like think about something that they haven't thought about, or get some education about like just simple HR stuff that like maybe players don't have to think about.
Right.
But then on the organizational level, yeah, I think you're right. It's a challenge though. Like some clubs are going to be better at others. And what do you do in that case? You know, and how what right does the league have to say to a team that like their front office or their coaches aren't doing something that they want, or they're not being as inclusive as it's a hard balance.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think you can make sure that maybe the right education is in place, and so, and if it's clear that it's not, then you can ask for someone to be to take the right steps to maybe work on that.
I think that makes all the sense in the world. Like, one of the things that we're trying to solve for is, it's one thing to sit down for a 30-minute session once a year, right? And like preventing it going in one ear and out the other ear, and you return back to the status quo, and whether or not the lessons learned along the way carry with you is hard. It's hard to ensure, right? So I think we're just trying to, and I think every organization, it's not just USL, it's every sports organization on the planet, is trying to figure out how to, just how to be better, right? It seems from the outside looking in that the women's game is light years ahead of the men's game in terms of its overall inclusiveness. Why do you think that is?
There's the domino effect of once a couple players have come out and been supported by their teams, then it gives it makes it easier for the next, and then it's kind of cool because then you see, I mean, there's such good representation at that level that you see that now the women they're able to do it at their own level too. Like not everyone has to be the poster child and be the out person, and be, you can have a person that maybe doesn't have to do the social aspect of it or come out publicly, you know, but because they're just accepted by their teammates, and they've already had a couple people do that, pick up the burden. But on the men's side, that's just not the case, you know. So I think we're going to have a couple more people come out publicly before you can have a guy on the team that's just, yeah, I'm out and that's cool and I'm supported by my teammates, but I don't need to do anything beyond that, you know. And ideally, we wouldn't have to, like, ideally, no one would have to speak out or make a big public situation about it. But I just think in the women's game, you like they've had those people come out, so they're just like they're so much further ahead in terms of it not being a big deal. But until we have a couple more people come out, especially at that level, and in other sports too, right? Like, hey, like we could have a couple soccer players, but have like a ton of different basketball players, football players, and then okay, if a soccer player comes out, who cares?
If I was to ask you, you know, why do you think more gay male why more male athletes who are gay have not come out?
Yeah, 'cause I think it's harder to.
It's just harder.
Yeah, it's harder to be open with your teammates and facing being insecure about what they might think or what they might say, or not being comfortable enough with yourself because you haven't been able to come out to your own friends, you know, let alone your teammates. You know, there's plenty of people that can't even come out to their own friends. I think now our younger generation is way beyond where even I was, and I'm only 26, with being able to come out at an earlier age. So they're coming out at 12, 13, 14, 15, and being supported by their friends. Hopefully, if they're playing sports, they're going to be able to come out to their teammates then too. And then there's just a natural progression of, okay, if they end up being a professional, then they're already out. No, they won't even have to worry about it. Whereas when I first became a pro, I hadn't come out to anybody. So that's a lot of work you have to do outside of the sport you're trying to play, you know, in terms of accepting yourself, coming out, having your friends support you, your family support you, then you have your teammates. So it's a lot. There's a lot of levels that you have to get there. So it doesn't surprise me why there's people that come out after they're done playing, because they're focusing on other things. I think what was unique when I left DC, I had told a couple teammates, but I felt like I had been living a lie still. So when I got traded to Minnesota, I used it as an opportunity to just completely write a new chapter and not lie. So the first opportunity I got at preseason, when a teammate asked like if I was dating a girl or something, I just came out to a bunch of my teammates at dinner and said, no, I'm gay. All I needed to do was that one time, because then I didn't lie. I'm very much like a proponent of like to just like give the people that are around you like a chance to like just receive you for who you are, you know, and deal with other stuff after. Like you're gonna get. We learn quickly as athletes. You're gonna have people that say things about you that you don't agree with, or that are gonna be super negative about you for no reason. And I think when you learn that's always gonna be the case, that's the healthiest thing to learn. But you live and you learn. So.
You live and you learn. Well, it's brought you to San Diego, California, which is like one of the most beautiful places on the planet, surrounded by good people, still playing the sport you love,
still
an
doing
ambassador for the LGBTQ plus community, all at the age of 26. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I try to just remind myself that I'm still doing this, you know? In the long off season, I was in and around my club a little bit and training some kids, and just like having that full circle, being like, I'm still playing and doing this thing, and all these little kids maybe would one day want to do this. It's pretty cool to remind yourself that.
Last question for you is, what would your message be to a young aspiring footballer who might stumble across this interview one day and be trying to break into the sport and be trying to become the kind of player you are today? What would you tell them?
Your sexuality should never limit you from playing the sport you love, and don't let anything get in the way of you pursuing your dreams of playing soccer. And it's a sport for everybody, you're gonna meet some amazing people in the game, and please play it and fall in love with it, because it's the best sport.